It says that IB is 50 microamps. IB is 50 microamps. And the gain, by the way, we said HFE is current gain, but we use two ways of identifying current gain. One is called beta. The Greek letter beta is used for current gain, and HFE is also used for current gain. One is the same, interchangeable, okay? We'll call the current gain HFE or we'll call it beta. So, the beta of this transistor that we are working with has a gain of 150. And IB is 50 microamps. How much is IC? So let's calculate. Using this equation that beta is IC over IB, if we know that IB is 50 microamps, how much is IC? What do you get? 7.5 milliamps. IC is 50 microamps times 150, 7.5 million. So, back to my faucet analogy. It took a little bit of current of 50 microamps for this transistor to produce a collector current of 7.5 milliamps. Okay? So, under number 4, the transistor spec sheets, which is the appendix 2 that we looked at, it says that for the 3904, the minimum value we said was 100. So write down 100 for minimum and 300 for maximum under number 4. So let's do the second example. IB is unknown. IC is 10 milliamps. Beta, HFE is 200. How much is IB? IC is 10 milliamps. The gain is 200. How much is IB? So it's manipulating this equation, isn't it? 10 IB is in IC over beta. So is it 10 milliamps over 200? How much is it in microamps? 0.5 microamps? 0.05 microamps? Yes? No? How much? 50 microamps. The answer you get here, you just multiply it by 1,000 and you get microamps. Okay? So that's number 4. So that's the beta of a transistor. What is beta of a transistor? It is the current gain, and current gain has no value. It has no units. It's current divided by current. IC divided by IB. So gain is just a multiplier, right? Whenever we talk about a gain, that is a multiplier. It does not have a unit. There's another unit or another parameter called the alpha of a transistor. We've got the beta of a transistor, but the alpha of a transistor is defined as IC over IE. We're not going to emphasize, we're not going to spend too much time on the alpha of a transistor. It's not really that critical. It's not mentioned in the spec sheets. the beta is mentioned in the spec sheets. We have to know the beta of a transistor. The alpha is simply IC over IE, which is basically saying that you've got this IC, you've got this IE, and what did we say about IC and IE? Did we say that they were about the same value? Because IE is small. So that's what this is saying. It's approximately equal to 1. In most transistors, IC and IE are about 1. So alpha is typically close to 1, 0.98, 0.99. That's the case. Okay? So let's do the example at the bottom of page 6. In a transistor, IB is 100 microamps. IB is 100 microamps. Beta is 80. Let's find IC, IE, and alpha. First, let's find IC. How do we find IC? IB times beta. So it's beta times IB. How much is that? Give me the answer in milliamps.
8.
How much? 10? 8. 8 milliamps?
Yes.
Okay. How about IE? How do we find IE?
IB plus
IB plus IC. IE is IB plus IC. So is it 8 milliamps plus 100 microamps? So is it 8.1 milliamp? Okay. So now let's find alpha. Alpha is defined to be IC over IE. IC is 8 milliamps. IE is 8.1 milliamp. What do you get? Approximately 0.9 what? 8? Okay. So that's alpha.